This is Hashtag History, episode 127. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
And this week we are discussing a truly tragic and disgusting incident in American history.
Cool.
Yeah. Welcome to the Hashtag History podcast.
Yeah, welcome.
It happened not that long ago. I know I'm aging myself when I say that because this incident occurred in 1985.
Uh-huh.
But for me, I consider that more recent history.
I do too.
Well, we're the same age.
I'm a year older than you. So technically, anytime you think you're old, I'm a year older.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge. This week, we are discussing the 1985 MOVE bombing, in which the city of Philadelphia bombed and killed its own people.
Yikes.
On May 13th, 1985, the Philadelphia Police Department dropped a bomb onto a West Philadelphia home that they knew to be occupied by men, women, and children. Those residing within this house were a part of MOVE, a Black liberation group founded on the principles of racial justice and other causes such as animal and environmental rights. They had long been a nuisance for the local police and had also become a nuisance to many of their residential neighbors who made noise and littering complaints. In response to this, the Philadelphia mayor ordered for the group to be evicted from the home. When they did not do this, the Philadelphia Police Department bombed the home, and the Philadelphia Fire Department allowed for the fire resulting from this bombing to destroy an additional 61 homes.
61?
61. At the end of this horrendous event, 11 people were killed, including children, and another 250 people were left homeless. So yeah, it goes beyond just they wanted to evacuate this one home. They allowed an entire neighborhood to be decimated.
Wow.
This is a pretty horrendous topic and one that honestly blew my mind the first time I heard about it. So let's jump right into it after we jump into this week's drink. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
And this is Hashtag History,
The podcast for both history nerds and history haters alike,
where we dive into history's greatest stories of controversy, conspiracy, and corruption.
all I can think about is in West Philadelphia, born and raised on the
when I said West, I saw you smile, and I was like, she's singing the song in her head. I knew you were.
I was.
I knew it. West Philadelphia, born and raised. Yep.
Okay. This is the final time this season. I don't want to close the door.
Absolutely not. That would be rude.
That we get to give a heartfelt shout out to Alicia Gutierrez Romine for sponsoring a total of 5 cocktails.
So generous. Thank you so much, Alicia.
Yeah. So we appreciate you. And if anybody is interested in sponsoring a future cocktail and getting a shout out on the episode, or 5 or more.
I
mean, can sponsor an entire season of cocktails.
Jeez. That would be pretty amazing.
Yeah. You're welcome to do so. You can visit our website at hashtaghistory-pod.com. Go to the Support Us tab, and there's more information there on how to sponsor a drink.
And if you like to just stick to Instagram, it's also in the link in our bio.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Thank you so much, Alicia. And thank you so much to everyone now as we're getting close to the end of another season for giving us yet another fully sponsored cocktail season.
I know.
It's amazing.
We couldn't have done it without you.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah. This week's cocktail is a spin on the traditional Philly Flyer cocktail. So I'm calling it Leah's Philly Flyer.
Okay.
So it contains gin, maraschino juice in our case, but the original actually calls for maraschino liqueur, lemon juice, and then an egg white for froth. And I think that was actually my addition. There was another ingredient that we didn't have in my pantry. And so I was like, I'm not going to buy that.
No. Yeah. Keep it simple.
Yeah. So the OG Philly Flyer cocktail is named after the Philly NHL team, the Flyers,
okay,
I think. And that is all I have to say about that, because hockey is probably the sport I know the absolute least about on this planet.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Maybe curling might be tied. Were you going to say that?
Why are we thinking exactly the same today?
I don't know, man.
And curling's so random. I literally was going to say curling, maybe. That's really weird.
It's really weird.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of hockey games. Have you?
We went to one together.
Oh, we did. That's right. We did. I have a picture of us at one together.
Yes.
That's right. They're fun to go to.
They're really fun.
They're really fun to go to.
Yeah. If you want to go to another hockey game?
I would love to. It's in Stockton, right?
Yeah.
I would love
the
to.
Heat, I think.
Is that what they're called
Stockton
now?
Heat?
They used to be the Thunders, right?
Maybe the Heat is their basketball team?
No, Stockton basketball is called Kings. They're the Stockton Kings.
You're right. They are.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Literally no one cares. Hockey's fun to watch. I know nothing more than that.
Yeah.
Go Flyers. Cheers. Granted, I have my fake gin in here because I'm having a mocktail. Mm-hmm. So maybe yours does taste better.
I mean, it tastes like the last drink we just had.
I just was thinking, would there be a better liquor in this than gin to mix with cherry? It feels like it
goes well with cherry.
It feels to me, again, like I said, I have the alternative, so mine isn't like a true gin, but it tastes like the gin taste and the cherry is clashing.
Yeah, they're both kind of like I wouldn't describe cherry as bitter, but there's like that after bite of cherries.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is competing with the gin.
Mm-hmm.
Whiskey does go good with cherries.
So
like
maybe
old fashions, some people make them with like cherries.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, I have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel semi-neutral. I think there's some clashing going on, but I also appreciate that it does taste like an icy sort of.
I also just really don't like the fact that I see little bits of egg white in it.
Yeah.
I need maybe a foam cup would make it better. So I can't see what I'm drinking. But I mean,
it would be so much better if I couldn't see what I was drinking.
See what I was drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's 6.
Yeah. I think that's what I was going to say too.
Yeah, which is surprising because the other one is so similar to this, but like things make a difference.
It does.
Things make a difference. Stuff and things make a difference.
Stuff matters.
Stuff matters, guys.
It is the clashing of the like cherries versus pomegranates. Pomegranates just go better with gin.
Yeah.
Than cherry, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a little, it's like a tartness or something.
Yeah.
There that. Yeah. Okay.
All right. 6. Drinkable. As long as you don't look at it.
And what's funny is like it doesn't taste gross in the slightest at all.
Just don't think about it.
Just don't think about the fact that there's an egg white in there.
Then you're fine.
Then you're absolutely fine.
So I want to give a shout out up top that I first heard about this topic from our friends over at Beyond Reproach, Stephanie and Tux, whom we were actually just talking about how much we adore them literally right before we started recording.
And I was saying Tux would be so proud because I used an egg white in a drink.
That is how we started talking about them.
Above and beyond, you know?
Yes. Mm-hmm. They covered this topic in their episode. I believe it's episode 25. They released it back in 2020.
Whoa.
And yeah, I know, which was 100 years ago. I can distinctly remember listening to this episode.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I still had those early quarantine feelings when you were like stuck inside your house. I had probably gone on 12 walks already that day.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember listening to it back then. And as always, it was so good and so compelling. I was so deeply moved and disturbed by the story that I knew that I would one day want to bring it to our podcast and to share it with our audience as well. But I, of course, want to acknowledge Beyond Reproach for first introducing me to the topic and to encourage all of our listeners to go check out their episode about this event in history because they do a really great job covering it. Not only like their research is so great, their like banter and everything is so great.
Fantastic.
It is. And they also included, which we are not including in ours, some original audio.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's a really, really great episode.
That's like one of the few of theirs that I don't think I've heard.
It feels like it was so long ago now.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago now, but it's a really, really good one.
Oh, wow. I gotta go back.
To begin, I think we should discuss the MOVE organization, which is still in operation today, although the number of members is unknown. Originally called the Christian Movement for Life, this was a group founded in 1972 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Although this is likely assumed that MOVE is an acronym, given that it's all spelled out in capital letters, it's not. It doesn't stand for anything. The founder of the group, John Africa, said the motivation behind the name was, quote, everything that's alive moves. And if it didn't, it would be stagnant, dead. When movers greet each other, they say, on the move, unquote. I think that's cheesy.
It's the cheesiest thing.
It's really cheesy.
So cheesy. Then again, it was the 80s. Oh, 70s.
So, yeah, even cheesier. Bordering on cheesy.
Yeah.
The primary principles of MOVE were equality and justice. They were also against more modern technology like medicine and science.
Oh, yeah.
I know. We're going to talk about this group in depth as we continue.
Okay.
The first thing I'm going to say is nobody ever deserves to be bombed and killed.
Right. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I will say after that, 50% of their causes, 100%.
Stupid.
Well, I was going to start with the good ones. 50% totally behind.
Oh, okay.
They're against police brutality.
Animal
they are
cruelty.
all about against animal cruelty, about racial justice. And then the other half for like only vegan diet, all like don't go see doctors. They don't believe in medicine, science, anything like that.
They don't.
And they also, as we will talk about later, were causing a lot of problems to their neighbors who had initially tried to embrace the movement.
So I just have a question. Western medicine or like just medicine?
I don't know.
Okay.
My assumption is going to be Western only because, as I'm literally almost just about to say, they were very hippie-esque. So that makes me think that that they were open to alternative medicine.
Drinking some tea to solve your problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still not fully behind that, but that's better than just like, we don't believe in addressing any bodily issues whatsoever in any way. That's what I was envisioning when you said they're against medicine.
I wish that I had more information and knew. There might be more information out there that I just didn't come across. What exactly are the parameters around?
Right.
We don't like medicine. I'm not sure.
Okay.
All members took the surname of Africa to represent the mother continent, and they wore dreadlocks. A good way to describe them, this is what I was just talking about. There's an article in The Guardian that described them as, quote, a strange fusion of black power and flower power, unquote. They were very involved in racial justice, animal rights, environmental rights, police brutality, and so on. Their loud demonstrations, accompanied often with bullhorns, caused them to have several bad interactions with law enforcement. In fact, in 1977, only a handful of years prior to the bombing incident we will be discussing today, 3 members of MOVE were jailed for their participation in demonstrations. In 1977, MOVE members agreed to vacate a home that they lived in Powelton Village following complaints from neighbors there if the Philadelphia Police Department would release these members from jail. Instead, roughly a year later, the group became involved in a shooting with the police when they still had not vacated the home. I also want to say here that it's my understanding from my research that they didn't necessarily start out as like a more militant group, but rather that was a response to their interactions with law enforcement.
Yeah.
This shootout would result in the death of police officer James Ramp and injury to 16 other members of law enforcement. At trial, the MOVE members would insist that they had not killed the officer, that none of the guns that they had within the home were even operable at the time, and therefore the fire must have come from a fellow officer. But regardless, 9 MOVE members, they became known as the MOVE 9, would be charged with his death. And it's only in more recent years, so between 2018 and 2020, that the majority of the still living accused have been released from prison.
Wow.
In 1981, the members of MOVE moved. They moved to a new house at 6221 Osage Avenue in West Philadelphia.
Born and raised.
It wasn't long. It wasn't long after they moved here that the largely middle-class African-American neighbors began complaining about them. And like I sort of briefly touched on earlier, it does appear as though these neighbors initially were trying to be welcoming and embrace this group. It's a small group. They understood their cause for the most part.
I'm sure they agreed with some of it.
Certainly.
Yeah.
They understood that they were receiving harassment from law enforcement. So they initially tried to embrace them, but eventually they began complaining about them. Neighbors made noise complaints as a result of the MOVE members using their bullhorn day and night. In addition to constant noise, neighbors were making littering complaints because they just had all this trash that was collecting around the building.
Understand.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. So the worst that I've had to deal with neighbors.
Well, you've actually had to deal with worse than me.
Apartment living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is different, I guess.
Yeah. I was thinking house-wise, the occasional...
The dog barking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say the occasional neighbor that had like a party that was going on really late that was really annoying. Mm-hmm. But mostly in our last house, a dog that barked nonstop.
Yeah.
Never stopped.
Yeah. Which I really feel for the dog. Talking about animal rights.
We felt horribly for the dog.
Yeah.
Like it did feel like the dog had like separation anxiety or something.
Yeah.
Or like that's
every time they left, it would bark. Yeah.
Anyway, I know you can also understand.
I mean, yeah, our old neighbors from like maybe not the last house we rented, but the house before that would literally from Thursday night at 11 p.m. until Monday morning at about 3 a.m. just blast music, and
it's the kind that you can like feel.
You could feel the bass, and we had a really narrow backyard, and so we could like literally in the middle of the night feel the bass of. And Nico thinks they hung their speakers on the fence. Our shared fence.
Yeah. I'm laughing, but that's not funny.
And it gave us both like a little bit of PTSD when it comes to that. So yeah, I get the noisy neighbors thing.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
So neighbors, they would make these complaints to the city for some 3 or 4 years.
That's a long time.
That's a really long time. On April 30th, 1985, neighbors had enough. After MOVE members constructed a bunker complete with holes for gun ports on the roof of their building, the neighbors put together a news conference in which they begged for city officials to do something. This does raise concerns. They have a bunker on the top of their building that they would like patrol it with guns and have their bullhorns out, and they could see that there were gun ports.
And this was like a residential house.
It was a row house in West Philadelphia, which these born and raised, which these these row houses are super close to each other. Yeah. In addition to that.
Yeah.
It's in audio that's in the Beyond Reproach episode. One of these neighbors was talking about, imagine living directly next door to them. But even if you didn't, if you lived 2 blocks away from them, you still heard them. Well, and you still heard them.
Yeah, heard them. And then you know that like, okay, they're not inciting violence, but like they're ready for violence.
Yeah.
I can't imagine knowing like a neighbor 2 blocks away is ready for the police to come attack them and
they're prepared.
They're prepared. Oh. That's scary.
It is scary. Yeah, valid.
Yeah.
So these neighbors, they put together a news conference and they stated in part, quote, "We want the governor to know that regardless of whatever may have happened in the past, today MOVE is a clear and present danger to the health and safety of our entire block," unquote. And what they were referring to with, what has happened in the past, these neighbors didn't want a shootout.
No.
They didn't want anyone to die. They didn't, of course they don't.
Yeah.
But it's like they are aware of MOVE's past.
Yeah.
But they're also saying like, we're scared and we're concerned.
Yes.
Prior to this, city officials also had been hesitant to do anything, worried about another deadly altercation with the group like what had happened before. But now, Mayor Wilson Goode, the first Black mayor of Philadelphia, began referring to MOVE as a terrorist group and called for a plan to be put in place to officially remove the members from the building. Hey everyone, we are so excited to share with you about Macy's Wine Shop. Yes, it is that Macy's. Macy's has launched their very own wine shop, which includes full-size, delicious wines curated by their experts coming from renowned wine regions, which include our home state of California and beyond. You can select exactly what type of wine you are looking for. Do you love reds? Do you love whites? Maybe a little bit of both? You can make these personalized selections quickly and easily through the Macy's Wine Shop. What makes Macy's Wine Shop better than any other online wine club is that they deliver quality wines at unmatched price points, all within 1 to 3 business days. Seriously, I ordered my wine on a Monday and had already received them by that following Wednesday. And with our link, you get $50 off a 6-bottle box of Macy's award-winning wines, which is a $95 retail value. Head to the show notes of this episode to access the discount code, or you can head to our Instagram to find the link in our bio. Cheers!
I do wonder, okay, I understand they were making a lot of noise. They set up like a bunker, essentially, and obviously had a lot of firearms and weren't hiding that fact. Did they ever do any sort of like violent acts or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No, I did.
Or threaten to.
I did read that sometimes they would pester neighbors. Like if they were walking down the street, they'd pull out their bullhorn and start like yelling at them. Yeah. But no, they were not inciting violence.
So to call them terrorists is a jump. Okay.
On what was Mother's Day, May 12th, 1985, which why did we have to pick Mother's Day? Philadelphia police began going door to door, telling residents to evacuate the neighborhood for the evening, but that they could return the next day. Some 500 officers would use these homes, these other people's homes, as well as hidden alleyways to take watch of 6221 Osage Avenue. That's a really bad sign.
Disturbing.
Very disturbing and a very bad sign when they tell neighbors to evacuate.
Oh my gosh.
The next day, May 13th, early in the morning, from the various records I've read, it appears to be sometime between 5:30 and 6 a.m. Police Commissioner Gregor Samber brought a bullhorn to his mouth and yelled, quote, "Attention, move. This is America. You have to abide by the laws of the United States. We do not wish to harm anyone. All occupants have 15 minutes to peacefully evacuate the premises and surrender. This is your only notice. The 15 minutes start now." Unquote. I would call into question the fact that they don't intend to harm anyone when there are 500 fully armed officers.
And they evacuated the entire block.
Yes. And brought along with them a lot of other machinery that we will shortly be getting into. They had obtained arrest warrants for a handful of the members for charges such as contempt of court, parole violations, and illegal possession of firearms. And they began to read these arrest warrants out loud as well. They even shut off power and electricity to the group in an attempt to get them to vacate the home. Move, however, did not leave. Instead, the police began shooting into the house, with Move members shooting back. The police shot into the house with semi-automatic rifles, submachine guns, and more. It's reported that the police fired more than 10,000 rounds of ammunition into the home. But that's not all. They also threw in tear gas canisters and shot at the house with high-pressure water hoses. By 2 p.m., when the members still had not vacated the home, the police commissioner ordered for the house to be bombed, to which Mayor Good, who was not there at the scene, agreed. And before I continue, I want to reiterate that law enforcement fully knew that there were children inside this home when they were shooting into it and when they made the decision to bomb it. Just in case anyone's wondering about that, they are fully aware.
Yeah.
Police dropped from a helicopter 2 1.5-pound bombs made of dynamite onto the house. In less than a minute, the bombs exploded due to hitting a gasoline-powered generator, and it set the house on fire. It was decided by Police Commissioner Sambor and the Fire Commissioner, William C. Richmond, to let the house continue to burn in an attempt to persuade the members to evacuate the home. But they let the fire burn for so long that it caught neighboring houses on fire as well. The fire department did not begin attempting to put out the fire until more than an hour after it had begun, at which point the entire 6200 block of Osage Avenue had been leveled out.
Yeah, I can tell you fire goes fast.
It goes fast.
In suburban neighborhoods.
Yeah, I was of a neighbor fire that was like creeping up on your own house. That was scary.
I mean, it was 2 houses down, but like, yeah, it moves so fast. It's so scary.
It's so scary. In total, 61 houses would be burned to the ground. The fire department would not declare the fire as under control until 11:47 that evening, long after neighbors had been placed on a 24-hour evacuation notice, were told that they could return.
To nothing.
To nothing. When neighbors did return to their neighborhood, 250 of them would be left homeless due to the destruction. And this is something that I think we know is really common, is this is a primarily Black neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that these complaints went on for like 2 to 3 years, I think is not that uncommon, that police were not listening to Black residents and that they didn't care about what happened to the homes and the livelihood of Black residents, in this case, with the fire just spreading and decimating the whole neighborhood. They didn't care. Yeah. It goes beyond trying to get this group that they viewed as terrorist to evacuate. It goes way beyond that.
I wonder what the reaction would have been had this been a white neighborhood that this group moved into? You know, how much would it differ?
I think dramatically.
Yeah. I think that it would not have taken 3 years.
Yeah, it was like 3 to 4 years of complaints.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 4 years. And I think that they probably would not have allowed the fire to grow that large, at the very least.
I can't imagine them even bombing a home in a white neighborhood.
Why would they risk that?
Yeah.
When it's white people.
And I think that they knew if they told this neighborhood to evacuate, I'm not saying that they knew they were going to burn down all these houses, but I think they knew the destruction was going to be more than A, they wanted witnesses for, and B, I guess just that they were aware that this is going to involve and extend beyond this one house.
Yeah. Well, they evacuated the whole neighborhood. Yeah. Yeah. They had to have known.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Only 2 MOVE members would escape from the house, Ramona Africa, who was 29, and Bertie Africa, who was only 13 years old. Both had been badly injured by the fire. 11 others that had been in the house, 6 of which were adults and 5 of which were children, had all been killed. John Africa, the founder of MOVE, Rhonda Africa, Teresa Africa, Tree Africa, Netta Africa, Frank Africa, Tommaso Africa, Conrad Africa, Raymond Africa, Delicia Africa, and Little Phil Africa. Following the horrendous incident, an investigative commission was put together called the MOVE Commission to look into what had happened. The report was released on March 6th, 1986, which basically stated what the city did was unacceptable.
Yeah.
The police commissioner resigned, blaming Mayor Good for orchestrating the whole thing. And Good issued a formal apology. After the home had been searched following the bombing, it was found that there were only, I'm putting only in quotations, 2 pistols, 2 shotguns, and a .22 caliber rifle inside, none of which would have been enough to truly fight off 10,000 rounds of ammunition unleashed by 500 law enforcement officers. So I'm saying only, I mean, that sounds like a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
But when you compare that to 500 officers that...
Semi-automatic rifles.
With semi-automatic rifles, tear gas canisters, 2 bombs.
A shotgun is not equivalent.
No.
Yeah.
And just because it came up in my research, I think it's also worth noting that the bullhorn that neighbors had complained about the MOVE members using had actually been broken and therefore not used in the 3 weeks leading up to the bombing.
Oh.
A number of lawsuits were filed against the city by family members of those slain. In 1996, it was determined that the city owed $1.5 million to the suing families for their use of excessive force. A later lawsuit filed by residents of the neighborhood whose homes had been destroyed were also awarded. To them, it was $12.83 million.
Wow.
The most recent lawsuit filed against the city in relation to the bombing was filed only this last year in 2022 by the brother of 2 of the teenagers that were killed in the bombing. And prepare yourself for this one because it is particularly heinous.
Okay.
It was claimed in this lawsuit that the bodies of 2 of the teenagers that died in the bombing, Tree and Delicia, had been collected after the bombing and turned over to a University of Pennsylvania anthropologist, Alan Mann. Mann then took the remains with him when he moved to New Jersey and then eventually had them sent to Penn Museum where they remained up until this last year. They were literally kept in a cardboard box, not in a climate-controlled room or anything, in storage at this museum.
What the f***?
It is horrible. It's horrible.
I have no words.
There are no words. It wouldn't be until 2020 that the Philadelphia City Council would approve a resolution formally apologizing for the bombing and declaring May 13th an annual day of remembrance. For West Philadelphia residents...
Born and raised.
They don't need a day of remembrance to remember May 13th. In fact, many of them refer to the MOVE bombing as simply May 13, 1985, because the date is so ingrained in their memory. Today, the majority of the houses in this neighborhood sit empty. In the early 2000s, about 2/3 of it was bought by the city, and now they just sit there boarded up for the most part. As we've been sitting here talking about it, we were looking at pictures of the results of this bombing, and
yeah, there's one image of the block that was affected by this, and you'll see it on our Instagram if you look. It's shocking.
It's shocking.
I mean, there are row houses, or what would yeah, that's what you would call them, row houses, and there's like an entire street on both sides. Essentially, every house is gone, and then some even behind that street.
Yeah, completely decimated. And we've talked about this before, I think in multiple episodes. The first one that I can think of is Chernobyl, how these people were told, grab, like a change of clothes and your toothbrush or something, but you're going to be back in 24 hours.
That's so messed up.
It's so messed up, and it goes beyond just now they have nowhere to live, which is horrendous to think within 24 hours you lost everything. The roof over your head. Yeah. But you lost everything. You lost your great grandma's wedding dress. You lost family photos. This is why these neighbors were hesitant to complain. They complained, and then this happened.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And so today, that neighborhood, my understanding of what it is now is these blocks were decimated. The city, in their attempt to kind of remedy what they had done, said, we're going to rebuild, we're going to make it better. But of course, they made really cheap houses that there were like leaks in the roofs. And so people either had to move or live in these horrible conditions, to where in the early 2000s, the city said, listen, we'll buy your house from you.
Yeah.
And they offered them, I think it was like $150,000 for their house. And 2/3 of the residents took the city up on this. Yeah. And so now, the last I read is that the city is like, they're building, of course, like condos and stuff in there. Yeah. If it's not a condo, it's a boarded up home. Yeah. And so 1/3 of the neighbors that returned to this neighborhood, a neighborhood that they loved, now are surrounded by boarded up homes or condos. Before I close out this episode, I do want to talk about one final thing that was very interesting to me in my research. I read about this sculpture that was created by artist Ellen Powell Tiberino in remembrance of the bombing. From what I've read, it's a 7-foot tall sculpture, and it quite literally depicts people burning to death with Mayor Good looking on in the background. I searched for an image of the sculpture. I searched for probably an hour with no luck. I read that it hangs at Temple University, but then I read somewhere else that the mayor's wife got it removed from the university. If Leah or if any of our listeners know anything more about this, if the sculpture is still on display somewhere, if a picture even of it exists somewhere, I would love to see it. I'd love to hear from you. So please reach out, because I'm so curious about the sculpture and why it seems buried on the internet. That's the move bombing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. Ew. Ew. I think it's important that we know about it for sure.
Yeah.
I had never heard about it before the Beyond Reproach episode. No. You said you hadn't heard about it. Everyone needs to know about these things. This is an incident in which Philadelphia bombed its own residents.
Which is disturbing beyond comprehension.
Yes. And didn't care about damaging the homes and the lives of
innocent.
Yep.
And not to say that the people who lived in the home weren't, some of them very much were innocent and none of them deserved to have bombs dropped on them or automatic rifles drawn on them and shot at them. But I mean, I think the neighborhood were huge victims of this, in that they were promised one thing and all they wanted was like a quiet neighborhood, and then they were given a dust pile back in return.
It's so horrible.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks.
Jeez. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of #History.
All the sources used to put together the episode can be found on our website at #history-pod.com.
Subscribe to us on whatever podcast platform you use, share about us with your family and friends, and then give us a rate and review.
And be sure to check us out on Instagram at #history_podcast.
Originally, when I put this episode together, I had not pulled any pictures, but we do now, after this episode, after us talking about it, realize it's really important to show the decimated neighborhood. So that will also be available on our Instagram to view.
Yeah.
And come join us over on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you can help support our books and booze supply. You will also get access to some behind the scenes content, an automatic 15% off all merchandise, and we mail you cards and stickers.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye.
It's getting worse.
Two. Where did two come from?
I don't know. So on. They're loud demonstrations. Are you talking about the sound I made? It's constant. It's like it's like my burp sound, but
But it doesn't
worse,
come out.
Worse since pregnancy.
Is it uncomfortable or is
Yeah.
just a sound you make?
No, it's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable.
Also. It's like not being able to burp. It's an uncomfortable feeling.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Anyway, constantly. I'm sure that one caught on the mic. And there's one in the last episode too that maybe caught on the mic.
Sweet.
Yeah. So if you hear that at some point, you can feel sorry for me. The Dobby. No, Dobby. Finally, on April 30th, 1985. Did you just do it?
Yeah.
Of course, you. Just let it out.
Well, I burped.
Oh, it was burp.
It came out.
I think
It must be the egg white.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so gross.
So gross. Sorry.
Lock. Teresa Agrica. I spelled Africa different. Howell
Tiberino.
Thank you.